Hello fans of the Knowledge Drop. My name is Justin and I am thrilled to be with you today for today's Knowledge Drop about empathy. Okay, so it's a little bit different. Yes, we're going to be talking about empathy. We're going to unpack the word. We're going to dive into a couple different books, but we're going to end today with kind of an experiment. I'm going to ask you to do an empathy challenge, which is to respond to somebody, whether that be via social media or in person, using empathy versus sympathy. And I want you to tell me how it goes. How do you feel? How was the other person's reaction? Was it any different? So, all right, kind of a neat experiment. We'll see where we're at. Let's dive in. Empathy, sympathy, what's the difference? Obviously, they're very related, right? They sound a lot alike. And I remember the first time I heard one, or heard the word empathy being used, I'm a teenager, and I have this friend who's going through this traumatic life experience. And I'm just sitting there, right, as a young kid, just saying, like, man, that's terrible. Oh, that's awful. Man, that's painful. I have sympathy for you. And my friend stopped me and she goes, no, you don't have sympathy, Justin. You have empathy. And I didn't catch the subtle nuances of the words way back then, but there is a distinction, and I would argue that they're very, very, very powerful. It is a very powerful distinction. And so what is it? What makes it a little bit different? Well, I've got definitions. So I'm going to cheat a little bit. Sympathy. So sympathy, it focuses on the self. The definition that first pops up when I Google search this thing, and hear me out here, it says feelings of pity and sorrow for someone else's misfortune. Okay, all right. So let me see if I can cap that up. I'm sitting there with my friend, and she was living in a very conservative home at the time, and she had decided to make this life change. Right, and she had decided to come out about being gay and tell her parents, and so, again, conservative home, and so a lot of struggle she's going through. Well, I've never had to go through that, so if I had sympathy, I would have been sitting there saying, I am so sorry, I understand how you feel, right? I don't, okay? I get it, I'm so sorry. So sympathy is really taking the self, putting into the equation, and feeling this sense of like again, I mentioned in the definition here, pity and sorrow for someone else's misfortune. All right. So she stopped me when I said sympathy, and she said, no, Justin, you actually have empathy. Because I was sitting there, which here comes the part about empathy, I'm sitting there and I'm taking myself out of the equation, and I'm reading the definition here. The ability to understand and share the feelings of others. So instead of saying, like, I can't comprehend, I can't put myself in those shoes, but I can sit here and I can be there with you. I can say, that's painful. Wow. Okay? That stinks. Wow. Let's just sit here. So I laugh, but I hope you begin to see the difference. Sympathy, you are trying to have some kind of amalgamation of thoughts and feelings that you've had. I've disappointed my parents before, or I've had to make tough life changes or life choices. I have had to do the things, so I am trying to understand where you're coming from. Where empathy is, all right, I'm not going to try to put myself into the equation. I'm just going to say, here we are together in this piece. And so you can begin to see why empathy might be a little more powerful than sympathy, because really you're removing the ego, you're removing the self, and you're becoming attuned with this other person. Okay, so if I haven't lost you yet, let me see if I can give a couple examples. So Daniel Pink, in his book To Sell is Human, makes the argument, it's about selling, but he makes the argument that to be in a position where we are, asking someone, to give of their time or resources or energy, we have to be attuned to that person. In fact, he even says that's the A of the ABC of selling. His A is attunement. So do you have empathy? He has a little empathy test here. But I bring this book into the conversation because it talks about even those that are able to take perspective and have empathy for others tend to make more money. Okay, so if you got nothing else, right, than the feels, you've got the actual chart for monies here. He uses the argument from Adam Grant out of the University of Pennsylvania, and he says introverts make the lowest. Okay, all right, we could have guessed that a little bit. Now, but how low though? He says average revenue $120 per hour. Extroverts, make a little more. But by that, I mean, I'm looking at this chart here, it's like $122 per hour. But what's way up here on the scale is ambiverts. Okay, I don't want to get hung up on the money. The point is this. Those that are able to have people give of their time and energy and resources are the ones that can have attunement or can feel empathy for other people and take their perspective and walk in their shoes, okay? And those are the ones that are able to bring home, he puts it up here, like close to $160 per hour. So not only is there this part about just the feels and being able to, like, you know, relate to other people, remove yourself and really put them first, but then there's the whole financial aspect. I've been using all these sad examples, and so I want to share another example that really dives into the challenge and what I'm talking about when I say the empathy challenge. So let's say something good happens. Your friend has taken a vacation to Hawaii. You go on Facebook or any kind of social media and you see postings of them on this awesome vacation in Hawaii, and then the responses, you can tease them out and you can almost see where there are sympathetic type of personalities and empathetic type of personalities. So the sympathetic type of personality will write things like, oh wow, I love Hawaii, I've been there before, or oh, we just got back from Florida, I love going to the beach, okay? Or, you know, if they got nothing like that, it's like, I'm so jealous, have a great time. You see what's happening? Like, so if something tragic happens, or it's a shame cyclone, or even if someone has passed away, the sympathetic personality will be like, oh, I understand, I feel so sorry for you, oh, I feel so bad. And even something good happens, it's like, well, I also like that too, and I. Now, you can also see the responses on social media that have to do with empathy, which is, once again, I'm taking myself out of the equation. What does it matter, right? Like, I shouldn't enter into this equation. You have either had some tragedy or a life-changing event or even something positive happened to you. It has nothing to do with me. So you can see the responses. So, again, someone goes on a vacation in Hawaii and the posts come back empathetically like this. That looks amazing. I hope you're having a great time. Oh, you deserve all the great time that you're having. Or I know it's not a little bit cheesy, but you can tell an empathetic response or an empathetic personality versus a sympathetic response. And so that's my challenge for you. And it's tough. Like I wouldn't give this challenge to you if I hadn't tried it myself and struggled with it. It's this. When someone shares something with you, and again, that can be on a social media platform or that could be in person. And again, that could be positive or that could be negative. So they share something with you. Hey, wow, we just got a new car. My challenge for you is to move away from the sympathetic personality, which is you trying to put yourself into the perspective like, oh yeah, I just got a new car too, I love it. Or, oh, I've been wanting a new car as well, can I see it? Or, I'm so jelly, right? New car. So see if you can switch it to an empathetic personality. And again, it takes practice. And I want you to tell me how it goes. So, empathy or sympathy. Maybe you can see the power between the difference. Maybe you can see those subtle nuances. Maybe you could even see that one will earn you more money, right? By having attunement with the person that you're working with. But ultimately, I'm asking you to do the challenge, which is, right, go respond to somebody using empathy and let me know how it goes. All right, I hope you enjoyed the knowledge drop. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below, and have a great day.